All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on the digital underworld. We're going to explore the very real and frankly growing threat of cybercrime. But most importantly, we'll get into how you can actually stay safe. Think about it. We bank online, we shop online, we connect with pretty much everyone online every single day. But all that convenience, it comes with a hidden risk. The very same technology that makes our lives easier also, opens the door for criminals. That makes cyber threats a reality that, well, all of us have to face. So, to defend against any threat, you have to understand who you're up against, right? So who are these cybercriminals today and what really makes them tick? I'm gonna bet it's not what you think. Yeah, you can forget that movie stereotype of the lone hacker in a dark basement. The reality, it is far more organized and a lot more rational. See, research shows that modern cybercriminals often aren't driven by some kind of psychological disorder. Instead, they're typically rational people making calculated choices, a concept that's actually really well explained by a couple of established criminology theories. So the first one is choice theory. This basically suggests that for a lot of cybercriminals, it's just a simple cost-benefit analysis. They see a potential reward, money, data, maybe some influence, and they weigh it against the risk of getting caught. If that reward seems high enough and the risk seems low enough, they make a conscious, rational decision to go for it. And that brings us to routine activities theory, which honestly could not be more perfect for describing our online world. It says that a crime happens when three things come together: a motivated bad guy, a good target, and not enough security. And in our super connected lives, we are all constantly providing the target. All a criminal needs to find is that one little gap in security to get in. Okay, so let's see how these theories actually play out in the real world. We're going to look at some pretty shocking examples of how these attacks really go down. So this isn't some hypothetical. $55 million. That is the amount a Turkish hacker named Ercan Findagoglu and his crew were responsible for stealing in global cyber attacks just between 2011 and 2013. It just shows you the staggering financial scale these things can reach. And what's truly mind-blowing here is the coordination, the sheer scale of this operation. This was not a single heist. It was like a symphony of theft. In just a few hours, his team pulled off thousands of illegal ATM withdrawals all over the globe, all at the same time. This was a well-planned, totally rational, and just devastatingly effective crime. Financial theft is one thing, but scammers are now weaponizing artificial intelligence to create these new, absolutely terrifying schemes that target our deepest emotions and our closest relationships. This quote, it comes from a mother who got a phone call from kidnappers demanding a ransom. The chilling part? She heard her own daughter's voice pleading for help, but it was a fake. An AI-generated clone created from just a little snippet of her daughter's audio that was posted online somewhere. The scam almost worked because that emotional manipulation was just so powerful. And it's so important to remember, these are not victimless crimes that just happen in the digital world. Leaked intelligence can endanger actual lives. A hospital losing its network can literally mean the difference between life and death for a patient. And our personal location data being sold, that can lead to real-world stalking, harassment, and real harm. The threats are real, and they are varied. So to protect ourselves, we need to understand the enemy's tactics. Let's break down some of the most common plays in the hacker's playbook. So phishing is a classic, but it comes in different flavors. Standard phishing is kind of like casting a wide net. Think of those generic, your account has been suspended emails that get sent to thousands of people. Spear phishing is more precise. It targets a specific group, like all the employees at one company, with a much more believable message. And whaling? Well, that's the big game hunt. A highly personalized attack aimed at a CEO or some other high-value target, usually with a ton of research behind it. So defending against this really starts with just being aware. Scammers thrive on making you panic, so you gotta be skeptical of any message that demands you do something right now. And always check the small details, spelling errors, domain names that are just a little bit off, or logos that don't look quite right. Those little red flags are your first and honestly your most effective line of defense. Being aware of the tactics, that's step one. Now, let's talk about building a real, multi-layered defense strategy. And that's a responsibility that's shared by all of us, individuals, companies, and even governments. Look, while being vigilant yourself is key, the good news is you are not alone in this fight. Not at all. There's a whole ecosystem of protection out there, including some pretty powerful government agencies that are dedicated to protecting people and holding companies accountable. In the US, two of the biggest players on your side are the FTC and the CFPB. The FTC is kind of like the broad spectrum watchdog, tackling everything from identity theft to just plain unfair business practices. The CFPB is more specialized. It's like a referee between you and the financial institutions to make sure they're playing fair. Together, they set and enforce the rules for how your data and your money should be handled. And all of this brings us to the foundation of modern data protection, the FTC's Fair Information Practice Principles, or FIT for short. Now, these aren't laws themselves, but they are the blueprint. Key ideas include stuff like transparency, your right to know what data is being collected, individual participation, your right to see it and fix it, and data minimization, which is the idea that companies should only collect the data that is absolutely necessary. These principles really are the ethical bedrock for data privacy. So here's the crucial takeaway. Technology is going to keep evolving at a breakneck pace. We know that. But our fundamental rights to privacy and security, those have to be non-negotiable. And that demands vigilance from us as individuals, it demands responsibility from the companies we trust with our data, and it demands action from the governments that are supposed to protect us. The question isn't whether we can be safe, but whether we're all willing to do what it takes.